Right, hello Paul.
Hello.
Welcome to the program. What did you make of the interview before this one? What do you think? Do you think that we could actually see a default? I mean, UBS is of the view that we could actually see more drama emanating from Europe. We've got a referendum today, a surprise move by George Papandreou.
I was going to ask you, what's going on over there?
You're the expert. I'm just a mere financial journalist.
Look, I just got out my space machine, so I can tell you that looking forward, this is what's going to happen. The alternative to staying inside the euro is definitely much, much worse than whatever you have to do to stay inside. So irrespective of whether the referendum goes one way or the other, irrespective of whether the government fails and there's a change of leadership in that country, they are going to stay inside the structure because, to print all of those new banknotes, to go back to the drachma, to get all of your deposits in the banks devalued by 60%, definitely a bad idea. So
contagion, that's all I have to say. Think of this.
No, and you're right, because I mean that EUFN thing that I bought, the one that's the banks and the insurers in Europe, it's been up so nicely recently, down 7% today. I mean, that's the barometer, isn't it? Because that's what everybody knows it's all about. And you can't create, moral hazard, blah, 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 blah. So, we're back where we were 2 months ago.
Okay, so speaking about being back where we were, wasn't it about around this time a few years ago we saw the Lehman Brothers collapse, and then we have the MF Global collapse. Not nearly as big as Lehman Brothers, but how important is it in understanding the health of the financial system?
Well, it's always important to keep things in perspective. I love things which kind of give one an opportunity to weigh up, something relative to something else. So the value of Lehman Brothers' outstanding obligations when it crashed that fateful Sunday in 2008 was somewhere in the region of $600 billion US, much bigger than any liquidation that had been experienced prior to that. Enron, WorldCom, General Motors, all of that stuff, much, much smaller. MF Global is in the $40 billion range. So that's, $40 billion compared to 600. You can see how significant these things are. And as another interesting perspective, the value of outstanding sovereign debt from the Greeks is roughly in the region of 350 billion US dollars. So, like a big number, not something that, your bank would like to have to write away, but not so large
Paul,
that you need to lose sleep over it.
Isn't the point is that there's worries about the health of the overall Eurozone and the European Union, and that is what is actually at risk here, not so much the contagion overall?
Yes, because clearly it's economic growth that then gets people, higher tax revenues and not worrying so much. So your previous guest was exactly saying that he wasn't exactly, thrilled and positive about the outlook.
But he also said the US wouldn't really go into a double-dip scenario.
Yeah, so he wasn't
really that he was worried about.
Sackcloth and ashes. So, I mean, net sounds okay. And also, I know from people's economic forecasts, there's a tendency to assume, the continuation of one's current problems or, one's current strengths. So I wouldn't be too surprised to see those forward projections getting revised in a few weeks' time.
Pfizer results.
Yes, now we must end on a positive note.
Yes.
So Pfizer, another big US corporation with very positive results. So we're continuing to see this trend, aren't we? Very strong earnings. I don't know, I'm not sure where we'll be by the end of the week because we're going to have non-farm payrolls. If that comes in strong, then it's all positive again. This is how we are these days.
But we always feel this in the first week of the new month, is that we get this angst and the dollar starts strengthening and then there's fear about what the unemployment number is going to look like. Should they perhaps release it on a quarterly basis as opposed to monthly? Yeah,
and you know what? They only release the number once a month, but then they make revisions to the prior month. So everybody sits and watches on the edge of their chair trying to call it. And then they revise the prior month, sometimes by as much as, double the numbers before. It's actually nonsense.
So if Greece does default, would you be changing market position at all? Would you be doing anything significant in your portfolio?
No, look, our default view is still that the Greeks are not going to default, that it's going to be, part of this ongoing. So we've been buying steadily into these markets. We were very happy with the way it ran up. I bought some stocks personally in the US late this afternoon. I think I'm up in the last 15 minutes, but I'm not losing sleep over it.
I think we need to actually make a bet. If Greece defaults, then you have to do something for me, and I'll think about this.
Yes,
vice versa.
I've got to treat you to a meal in a restaurant
I think
in Athens.
You can become vegetarian for a week or something.
Oh, no, that's too hard.
Paul Theron, thank you very much for joining us for the show. Much appreciated for your time.